ended up hitting up the ex and I'm like, hey, can I sneak in? And he's like, yeah, like what happened? So I ended up sleeping at the ex's house. Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hi, my name is Alexis Jayda and welcome. Today's notification shout out goes to Chantel. Thank you so much for all your love and support. It means so much. Te quiero mucho. If you guys want to be part of the notification squad, all you have to do is subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. And your comment can possibly be my next notification shout out. Today's story time is going to be part of my nanny series. I have a nanny series and I will link the playlist down below. It goes from 1 until I think 19, which is yes. So if you want to keep up and like what's been going on, make sure to check out the nanny series playlist down below. I promise, have another story time that's not part of the nanny series. I was supposed to have that one up, but I couldn't sit down and record because once you guys see what me and my babe have been up to, you guys will be like, got it. A lot of time has been going into it and just getting ready, and I get so like everywhere. I don't know why, but I do want to show you something real quick. I went to Walmart and they have a bunch of clearance stuff right now. This one was originally $16.46 and I got it for $9. So what kind of flowers should I put in here? Of course they have to be fake ones because I am not that bitch to water nothing. If it's not watering my palette, I don't want it. So let me know. I was thinking like maybe white with a pop of like yellow sunflower, but I don't know. Y'all let me know. I was gonna pop it back there or pop it right in front of me or pop it in the kitchen, but my kids be ruining everything. Please, I would really appreciate it. All right, let's just jump into the nanny series. Let me know where you guys are going, what you guys are doing, what makeup look you guys are doing, what are you eating, what's on your agenda for today. I would love to know. And for the ones who comment, you probably won't even see this comment. I see it. I read them all, you guys. I promise I do. So I really want to know what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're grabbing. I would love to know. So let's jump into this makeup. Also, real quick before I continue, before I start, everything will be linked down below in the description. I want to have a discussion. So I mentioned in my last story time that Mr. Peach was very pervish with how he was putting his hand on my thigh, and I was like going back and forth in my head even as a grown-ass adult, and I was like, oh, you know, was I reading too much into it? And then I came back and I was like, no, I'm not. I just want to say thank you so much for all your guys' wonderful comments and not making me feel stupid for my feelings and just talking to me and telling me like, no, this is not okay, and even educating people down in the comments as well about this and that, because there were so many times where I misunderstood the word grooming and what it meant. And as I go back a lot, and a lot of times where I sit down and read my diary, I was groomed a lot. And it's very sad to say, I just didn't know like, oh, that's what it meant. I didn't know to a certain extent. And I'm just so grateful for you guys for helping me out and educating me and talking to me about it, you know, and in such a sweet way. And I just love that. I love that I have this platform where we can talk and everyone just feels comfortable, which makes me so freaking happy, because growing up, especially around, you know, the people that I was around, it was always, why are you asking that stupid question? Why are you so dumb? Why are you so stupid? It was never like, oh, you know what? Let me try to explain. Let me sit down and, you know, we can talk about this. And that's not to do like a, oh, poor me thing. That's just literally how it was. And I say we because I always categorize a lot of us, you know, who grew up in a Mexican household. We were always told like, shut up, go do something, go do something, or like, I'm not gonna answer you, or why are you asking? You know, there was no room for curiosity or anything like that, because let's just be honest, some of our parents just didn't want to be bothered. Even talking to my mom now, being older, I'll try and tell her, you know, or talk to her about certain things, and she gets all, ew, oh, Jade, no, like, what? And it's so freaking hard. And I even tell her, like, why do you get like that? That's just how some people are. And I think a lot of Mexicans grew up not being able to express feelings or anything like that, or affection, and anytime that was shown, it was a sign of weakness. Like for the longest, I did not like to cry in front of my husband because I always seen that as me being weak, and I hated it. And I would even tell him, even now, sometimes I'm like, I hate that I'm crying. I hate it. I hate it. And sometimes it's a love and hate thing. Sometimes I love it and I'm like, it feels so good. Like that's what I probably needed because I was feeling a little bit too, But most of the time I'm just like, I hate it, because I was always told like, stop, like, oh my gosh, like, you know, come on, keep moving forward. So just a little recap on that. I just wanted to say thank you guys very much. I didn't go to work the next day. It felt super weird with the whole situation of who broke it, then Baltimore broke it, her coming out, and I was just so upset with how anything that this woman would do, Baltimore, it was just, it's okay. It's okay, because she was an adult and it didn't matter. And I really hated how Mrs. Peach would get kind of freaking, you know, ballsy with me, and she wanted to talk to me some way. And I always felt like I was going to the room with the freaking glass of water, like just shaking, not wanting it to spill over, because I just felt on edge all the time. I just felt like I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. I always felt like being a burden. I was a burden over here with the ex, and I was a burden over here. Constantly felt like, what are you doing here, Lex? Honestly, what are you doing? I just wanted to be a normal kid. I waited like a day or two to go back to the Peaches. They didn't even bother to message me or anything, and I think it's because of how I left and how Mr. Peach, when I closed the door, how he said, what the F did you say? What the F did you do? Now when I think about it, he probably didn't bother, because he was probably like, hey, I kind of went overboard with being touchy-feely with her and making her feel uncomfortable. I'm just going to give it a couple days, because, hey, maybe someone does give a fuck about her and they're going to be pissed. So I show up randomly. It's a Wednesday. Sometimes on Wednesdays, we would go to this taco place and get tacos 2 for $1. I show up. Mrs. Peach is kind of happy to see me. You can tell she's like a little bit stressed. Her hair is kind of pulled out of her really slicked back bun, and she sees me. Hi, Alexis, how's everything? Kay, I need help. Kay, like, she doesn't even let me finish. Like, what the help me? Can you help me do this and do this? I'm like, yeah. I see that Sam's getting ready for something. I'm not sure what. I don't even bother to ask her, because I don't care. I'm still really, really salty about the cameras being turned off. We haven't even got to talk about that. And no one even told me anything about like, oh, we found out who it was. It was just kind of like a, oh, let's not talk about it anymore. We found out who broke the laptop, so it probably is Baltimore. So I get to cleaning and helping out with the kids, everything. There's a couple things I have to do that they wrote down for me on a piece of paper. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get to it. As I get to it, I see Sam's kind of like following behind me, sort of. So I'm kind of like, okay, this is when we're going to talk, because I really want to know why. I really do. I shouldn't have, but I did. You just have to know, huh? Yes, you do. She follows me as I go to, you know, do this little thing that I have to do. And I notice, so I ask her like, oh, hey, can you grab that? I need it on my way. She's like, oh yeah, sure. She grabs it, and she proceeds to kind of try to talk to me like, oh, so like, how's, you know, everything? How are you doing? Good. Yeah, everything's good. Everything good with you? Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I just feel like there's something like you kind of want to talk to me about, and can you just like, just get it out? I don't want to do this like back and forth. Oh, you don't want to pussyfoot around it. Okay. Yeah, so why did you unplug the cameras? What? So I'm like, Sam, don't look at me like that. Like, I'm really tired of being looked at like I'm a mess. So are you gonna tell me or not? Because I got things to do. Yeah. So she tells me that she had a friend over, and she didn't want her daddy to see her on the camera getting into his liquor. As I'm listening, I'm like, oh, okay, so you knew that you were gonna get in trouble about the cameras, but you were just like, I don't care. I'm gonna get drunk and I'm gonna get some. So you didn't care? She's like, no. Like, I didn't want them to find, like, why would they leave the cameras on, Alexis? And so I'm like thinking like, oh, she's stupid. Like, she's real stupid. Like, not even a little stupid. Like, you dumb as dirt. You dumb as. So I continue to let her go, because I'm thinking like, okay, she's gonna eventually catch herself and be like, oh, I'm a dickhole. You were outside with the bugs in the garage with the spiders, and I was in my dad's room Because not in her room. She didn't get down in her room. She got down in her dad's room because it was a nicer view. Like the room was better. So as I'm doing the chore, I'm listening to her. I'm like, oh my God, you're so crazy. You know, just listening, kind of, you know, being fake and hyping her up. Because I'm like, she has to catch herself. Like there's times where we do some messed up stuff and we catch ourselves because we hear ourselves. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm a piece of shit, you know? But no, she kept going into detail and how she went into the little jetted tub and how they went down and made some pizza. And I'm like, damn, okay, all right. So I'm just, you know, continue to listen, and how she was just walking around booty ass naked, and she was just like, you know, because they weren't gonna see, like, how are they gonna see? Like the things were off. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's crazy. Did you just turn them off once? And she's like, no, I turned them off a couple times. I'm like, I was like, so like, why didn't you care? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, so did you always know that you could do that? And she's like, yeah, okay. I guess she had seen Baltimore do it. And she's like, oh, she can do it. I'm gonna do it. And so I'm like, oh. I'm like, did Baltimore know? She's like, no, she wouldn't know. She would never let me, you know, do all that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because I'm trying to see like who I'm going to put on my checklist. Who am I going to get one by one by one? Even if I quit, who am I going to get one by one by one? So this is a huge thing when I say if they wanted to, they would. Because she could have let me stay inside while she was still getting down and dirty. But no, she didn't want to. So if they wanted to, they would. So I'm having a little battle in my head because that's just what I do. Going back and forth, and I'm like, do I even say anything? Because she's gonna be like, okay, what you want me to do about it? It already happened. This is all rude. I don't want her to do this, you know? Because if they wanted to, they would. And then it hit me on a different level. Is she embarrassed of me? You know, I don't even know. I don't even know at this point. So she's continuing to talk, and all I hear is blah, 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 blah. It's continuing to get my feelings hurt because she's talking, and all I hear is, you ain't shit, you ain't shit. Because if I was shit, then you would have been in the house. Is it a big deal? No. Does she owe me anything to let me in the house? No. I know. I have had combos with friends where they're like, she don't owe you nothing. Like, you can't be that upset over it, because I was upset over it for a long time. Some of my friends, I think where we're just kind of like have like that thick layer of like not giving a damn, and you have to learn to not care. We let a lot of things slide of like, oh well, people just kept disappointing us, you know, time and time. So it's just kind of one of those things like, oh well. So as she's finishing up, and I know she's starting to get to the end, because I can just be like, I can hear her going, yeah, and so yeah. Pretty much she's getting to, so that's what happened. My face, I can't change it. I'm upset. I am pissed off. Like, I am so pissed. I came in all hunky-dory, like, I'm ready to work. And my face is just, you're so grimy. You are so fea, bitch. Fea. Sucia. Disgusting. You're despicable, bitch. And I know you guys are probably thinking like, Alexis, you guys are cool now. Yeah. But when I read a lot of this shit, it makes me so mad because you forget the pain. But when I'm reading little Alexis diary entry, and I'm like, I see my daughter so much. I'm thinking like, oh God, people are so evil. She's finishing up and she's going, so yeah, that's what happened. And I'm like, okay. And my face is again just, and she's like, what? Why are you mad? You know, she kind of, you can hear the voice, the tone in her voice, like annoyed. Like, I just told you a bomb ass story and you're gonna make me that face, you know? That's how she was coming off. I tell her, I'm like, oh, I'm not mad. Then why you have that ugly ass face for? Because I'm disappointed, bitch. I'm really disappointed. She wants to sit here and say, but we use protection. Why would you be? And she stops. And I'm like, there it is. There it is. It clicked. Nope. You know what? I don't even know if we did the second time. Girl, you got me thinking now. And I'm like, does that? I'm like, okay, that's it. Like, grab the basket that I have and just walk by her. And she's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, so annoyed. Not even a fake, yo, what the fuck? it's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, just so like, what the, like, what are you doing? And I just walk away and I feel like a movie, like, gosh, like with the basket, you know, because I was really like, you are something else, bitch. You are something else. She doesn't even follow me. And again, I'm wishful thinking. I'm thinking as I'm putting this stuff away, I'm like, hopefully she's gonna come down. She's gonna apologize. For what? For what? She don't care, because if she wanted to, she would, and she don't want to. So stop it. Constantly, I'm going back and forth thinking that she's gonna come down a little bit, she's gonna text me. A lot of the time, I read this quote, and it's true. It's true, but I would have worded it differently back then. But the quote said, some people stop talking to you because they owe you an apology, and that is the most truest shit I ever heard in my life. Someone would just randomly stop talking to me, and I'm like, what the fuck? What did I do? You know, I'm trying to think, and I really can't think. I can't really think of it. I even go as far as like, hey, did I do something? And they want to say no. So I'm like, so when I read that quote, some people stop talking to you because they owe you an apology. It hit me harder than a freaking house of bricks, because it is so true. Not that many people can be like, hey, I messed up. I'm a shitty person. I shouldn't have done that. Hey this, hey that. Not that many people. You know how embarrassing that is for that person? They rather just be like, well, sucks to suck. I'm still down there in my feelings, like, she's gonna come apologize to me right now, I bet you, or blah, blah, blah. Like, she's gonna realize what she just did, and she's gonna be like, girl, I just hurt myself. And I'm like, thanks. No, didn't come. So I guess one of the little munchkins were listening to our combo. I don't know if they did it because they were like, Team Alexis. The little munchkin went and told Mrs. Peach and Mr. Peach what they overheard. It wasn't everything, but they overheard. So I am down there. Mr. Peach and Mrs. Peach are within earshot, and I'm like, great. She's going to think it was me because how I left all upset, and it's just going to look bad. She's not gonna believe me. I text her to come down just so she could see the munchkin talking to the parents, so she wouldn't be like, oh, it's me. I didn't tell her what was going on. I just said, come downstairs. That's all I said. So she's walking downstairs and she has her phone, and she looks over and she sees that her sibling is conversing with the Peaches and saying, yeah, that's what she did. Yeah, I heard her telling Alexis. And her eyes just ping, light up. And she looks at me and I'm like, you know, kind of like, yeah. So I didn't even know, okay? I didn't even know. Usually when we have like any type of talk, we always like make sure to like look around. No one's in earshot. No one's going to hear, because you just never know. Even though we did look, this child was really good and hid somewhere where we did not see them. So they're finishing up the combo, and she's trying to go back upstairs. And Mrs. Peach says, nope, Alexis, go upstairs. Sam, come down here now. Sam just looks at me, and I just look at her, and I'm like, oops. So I just take the little munchkin. I'm like, let's go upstairs right now. We go upstairs, and all you hear is, are you kidding me? And asking her what was she thinking on our bed, and just, you can hear they were upset. So I look down at little munchkin and I'm like, why'd you do that? So we go, and I'm putting away clothes in their bedroom and just kind of letting things chill out, because there was a lot of screaming back and forth. They were screaming from Mrs. Peach and they were screaming from Mr. Peach, and Sam saying, you're not my mom. You're not my dad, and just screaming, and a lot of huffing and puffing. And as she's screaming, I get a text message saying, you ain't shit, from Sam. And I'm telling Sam, give me your phone right now. And so she gives over the phone, and I'm thinking, read the message, because soon after I get called down. But not called down like, Alexis, can you please come down here? They call me down like, Alexis, get your ass down here. I was so scared, because in my mind, I'm like, this is when I am going to die, because I'm gonna go down there with a little bit of a more attitude, because who in the hell of it do they think they're talking to like that? I get they're upset, things are getting hot, but I've been feeling they're a little bit too comfortable now of just talking to me like that and always having some like bass in their tone. And so I'm upset. Voldemort's there and she's like, because that's her famous thing to do, right? Like, hurry, hurry, hurry. And so I walk slower. So I was walking down pretty quick, and then she said, I'm like, freaking robot status, because you got me up. Like, I am not going to walk down. No, you got me messed up. So she sees that I do that and she goes, like that, which I freaking hate. I hate with a passion. So as I make it down there, Mr. Peach pats a chair that he wants me to sit down, and he's like, can you sit down, Alexis? Can you sit down right here? I don't sit down on the one he pats to. I sit on another chair. And so he says, okay, so none of us are listening. I'm like, I'm just here to clean. Like, I don't know about, like, I don't know what you're talking about. I am not their kid. When you're in my house, we're responsible for you, okay? And so many things are going through my head. Oh, like, oh, now you're responsible for me. Okay, but this, and then, okay, but trust me, I'm thinking about all of it. I can hear it in my head, like, oh, so now you give up. So fighting within my head, and I probably look crazy as hell going like this, because I make a lot of expressions. I make a lot of like, so that's how I'm talking to myself in my head. And he has Sam's phone and slams it down on the table and says, I'm tired of this. I get a little scared because I swear, I'm so scared of like things popping off like that, because it's always freaking something. I'm just like, so I jump, and he just looks at me. He's like, really? Which makes me so mad. Like, I swear people don't want you to have like any reaction when they do something stupid like that. Like, they just want you to stay still. Like, I'm not training to be in the Navy, bitch. I'm supposed to have a reaction. Like, what the fuck? So he goes, really? And then Sam goes, yeah, you slammed that pretty hard. So he's just saying like he's freaking tired of this. He's tired of her acting like this. Like, why is she such a hard child to raise? And why can't she listen? And so I feel like I'm not even supposed to be part of that combo, because that's none of my business why your parents don't like you. So I just kind of like tune out a little bit and kind of look towards like the TV, because I'm always trying to be like respectful and not listen to when Sam would get chewed out, because I felt weird. I felt like, okay, this ain't it. Like, this ain't it to try and humiliate her in front of me. Like, that's just, no. Like, I don't know how to explain it to y'all. So he's telling her he's tired of it, and so she looks over at me, and I don't really pay attention. I just think that she's like moving her head. I don't know why. And she's like, did you? And I'm like, did I what? You know? She's like, did you tell her to tell him? I'm like, oh, what? No. And then he gets upset, like, why didn't you? It's none of my business. We had just got done talking. It's none of my business. And he's like, so if she puts herself in harm's way, it's none of your business. And it was so weird, because before I could even answer that, he said, don't answer that, because if you answer wrong, you're going to be fired. And I'm just like, I felt like the way he was talking to me, my parent should have been present, because it was just too much. And the way he came off sometimes was just really freaking scary. Like, it was just so much anger sometimes, where it was kind of scary. I kind of felt like he's about to lose his shit and we're going to die, because he would get like really mad. I just stayed quiet, and so he's like, so what is it? I'm like, I'm scared to answer, because I was really scared to answer. What if I give you the wrong answer? And then he just said, stop being a smart ass. Like, he was, and so I was just so conflicted, like, what the fuck do I do? So I just was like, no, literally, because I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. And Sam just sat there like so calm, like, oh, whatever. Not calm, but like upset, but she knew like he wasn't gonna do anything. You know how like a freaking spoiled brat acts, like, oh my god, like that, you know? And then you have someone who is just freaking traumatized, like, what are you doing? Why are you acting like that? who is scared. So I kept looking at her like, what are you doing? Because he was going, I feel like he was being mean to me because of how she was reacting. And so he knew that he didn't scare her really, but he knew that I was getting scared. And so I feel like he kind of got like a reaction out of it, you know? And so he was like more in my face than her face, because she wasn't giving in. She did not care. So I felt like that wasn't fair. So he's continuing to yell at her, wants an answer from her, like, why are you like this? And she's just like, Mrs. Peach is upset, but anytime she tried to tell her anything, and I mean anything, she would tell Mrs. Peach, shut up, you're not my mom. And it was so freaking awkward because Miss Peach, you can tell she kind of was like, and I really wanted to be in her corner, like, you're just gonna take that? Because it was so freaking weird. Like, it just, that worked. And she would try to like come back and be like, I don't care, Sam, the way you're acting is not okay. This is my house. She's like, it's my dad's house. I'll listen, and my dad can tell me, not you. No. And then she would say his name, like, he can tell me, but you can't tell me anything. I'm gonna tell my mom. You know, screaming out Baltimore, because Baltimore was there. Baltimore is just sitting there, not really saying much, which I thought she was gonna say more, especially with her. But she wasn't. She was just kind of observing, and I feel like she was there so that if anything did get out of hand, she'd be quick to like swoop and save Sam. The combo leads to nowhere, like literally nowhere. Sam is not giving them what they want, not answering them. She's like, I don't gotta answer nothing. They're asking her like if she was careful because they didn't want any grandkids, and she's like, my dad doesn't want any grandkids. Like, just pretty quick to let Mrs. Peaches know, like, you ain't got no ties to me. And it was kind of fun. Like, now that I think about it, like, she is such a little shit. So combo just ended, and then Mr. Peach asks, if you turn out the lights, why did you let Alexis stay outside? And I was like, ooh, now we're asking the juicy questions. I look over at Sam, like I turn my whole body to her, and we're literally just like looking at each other, and she's like, I don't want to talk anymore. I wanted to be like, no, answer that. It was just weird. So Mr. Peach goes, wow. And then Sam gets upset, and she wants to say, don't act like you care, Dad. You knew that she didn't have anywhere to sleep. I was telling you guys, and you guys didn't let her in. And it's true, because they didn't always in the garage, but they did know that I didn't have anywhere to go. So she was pretty much putting them on blast. He tries to shut her up because now all of a sudden he don't want to hear nothing of nothing, and tells her to get the F upstairs, that she's not doing anything, and that he's gonna call her grandma and let her know everything. And that was that. She starts to storm upstairs. I get left downstairs with everyone who's pretty much heated and upset about the situation. And Baltimore, so she starts talking in Spanish as if I don't understand, saying that, oh my goodness, that Sam is acting up so much more now, and that she thinks that I have something to do with it. She's like, you know, maybe it has something to do with this one. Mr. Peach goes and sighs and says, no, it has nothing to do with her, which is me. That tells Sam is that let's not sit here and try to blame me. And Baltimore is just still like, no, I think it's her. Proceeds to tell her that I was outside while she was in the house, that no, it was not me. That he could maybe see if I was in the house along with what she was doing, then maybe would be different. Baltimore continues, and she's like, pues, you know sé. I just know that she was un ángel. And now all of a sudden, and then Mrs. Peach gets in it, and she says, she's always been like that. And so they're kind of trying to fight, you know, speak a little Spanish. And I'm just sitting there awkward because they're talking about me and Sam. It's freaking weird. Mr. Peach can see that I feel kind of like uncomfortable, and instead of them just stopping the combo, he tells me that if I can go upstairs and check on Sam. Looking back, I'm just so freaking annoyed with so many things. So I just say, you know, like annoyed, and I go upstairs, and the face I make was because, come on now. Then Baltimore wants to comment on the face I make, like, you see? like my face, and he was like, I don't blame her, you know, this situation right now. And so she starts getting upset because she starts noticing that he's kind of like defending me more, you know. She's not liking that. So she asks him, like, why is he, oh, like on my side, like Team Alexis? And that's all I hear as I go upstairs. Like, that's the last that I hear. I go upstairs, and that's not like if I'm gonna be like, Sam, you okay, girl? Because I don't give a rat's ass. I really don't. So I just peek in, and I'm like, hey, you good? And she just looks at me. Her eyes are like red. I don't care. Like, why are you crying now? Like, I really don't care. So she's like, what do you think? I'm like, okay. And so I just walk away. And she just says, really? And I'm like, I just walk away, and I go on my phone, and I start to hit up some of like my friends and asking what they're doing, kind of explaining the situation. I felt like I just needed to talk to someone about it because I felt like this is so crazy. I just want to have a different life. I just want to be happy with my life. I'm so tired of not being happy with my life. Like, I don't know how many times I've talked to myself as a child, like, I just want to be freaking happy. I hate this life. I hate that I always feel like I'm in the middle. I always feel like I'm such like a burden. I hate it. And I'm just telling my friends the situation. They're like, we're going to be going to the aquatic center. Like, come on, let's go. Like, F these people. I'm like, right? Like, you're so right. And they're like, don't even finish. Just hurry up, and we'll meet you there, or we'll pick you up. I start to just like finish up the little things that I have to do, and I'm like, I'm not gonna stay. Like, I'm not gonna stay. I'm gonna put my finger down on it. My finger down on it. I'm not gonna stay. So as I'm finishing up the chores like pretty quickly, I get a text message from the ex, and all of a sudden he wants to go out to eat with his family and asks me if I want to go. And I'm like, I don't know if this will like, you know, make things better. Like, it shows that I'm trying, and I want them to like me. Oh, I want them to like me so much. So I bail on my friends, and I tell them like, hey, I'm going to go out to eat with the ex. And like, oh my gosh, Lex, like, come on, just come have fun. And I'm like, no, like, and I know you guys probably like, what the hell, Alexis? I know, but when you are freaking sprung, you do stupid stuff. And I was sprung, okay? I was just stupid sprung. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be liked. I finish up, and I'm going downstairs, and I have a bag of garbage. And so I tell them like, I'm needed home. I'm just going to finish early today. If you guys need me to finish anything else, I'll just come back early tomorrow. It was Wednesday, remember? So Mr. Peach is like, I'll walk you out. I'm like, no, it's fine. And so I just start to hurry up because I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and have, you know, Baltimore feel some way towards me because he's paying attention to me, and how she said like, why do you care? Like, I'm not trying to do any of that, have any beef, any problem. Like, I do not want to be fighting over a grown-ass man that's not even yours or mine. As I'm walking out, Mr. Peach pretty much beats me to closing the door. So I'm like, okay. I go out, throw out the garbage, and he gets in his car, and he's like, come on, get in. And I'm like, no, like, I'm okay. I'm gonna be walking, I wanna walk. And he's like, no, come on, get in. Like, we can go get tacos. Today is 2 for 1. Like, come on, I'm gonna go get some for everybody. And I'm like, no, like, I'm fine. No, I'm good. No, thank you. No, thank you. He's like, well, let me take you to where you need to go. And I'm like, no, like, I'm fine. So we're going back and forth. And of course, Mrs. Voldemort, I always wanna call her Mr., walks out, and she always has like a freaking attitude, I swear. And she's about to freaking light it up, and she's like, what are you doing? Why are you bugging him? Get quieres. And so I told her, I'm not bugging him. Why do you care? Why are you outside? So I start to get like jumpy with her because it was just one of those things where it's like you're not doing something and then you're getting blamed for it. And so she starts going. Mr. Peach is like, hey. Like, I'm asking her if she wants to go. And she goes over and she's like, okay, why? Like, what? And so she just tells him like, yeah, just go. Like, always has a freaking attitude with her stupid ass self. So he just takes off, and Mrs. Peach comes outside because she kind of hears the commotion, and she's like, what's going on? And Voldemort tells her like, oh, Alexis is bugging. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Mrs. Peach is like, okay, relax. Which makes me so annoyed because I'm not even doing anything. Leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. I just look at her and I just freaking start walking. They say something and they keep trying to call me to come back, and they're kind of like laughing, probably because I feel like a lot of times, and I hate saying it, but it's so true, a lot of Mexican families they think it's funny to kind of like bully and pick on you because they just think it's so hilarious. And then when you finally get fed up, they're just like, we're just playing, like relax. It's not funny. It's toxic, it's annoying, it's not funny at all. Even me being the age that I am now, and when I'm around like family and stuff and it becomes like that where everyone starts laughing, I just literally am just like, what? And I've gone into arguments because they think they're so funny, and like, I don't find you funny at all. I'm not hee-haw, nothing with you, bitch, at all. And it's made so many things awkward where I just avoid going. Like, I literally just avoid going because we're not the same, and I'm not gonna sit there, and I don't think that's cute. Like, I really don't think it's cute where you want to make a joke and have everyone laughing with you like a bunch of hyenas, and then I just sit there and I'm like, okay. And they're like, relax. And it's like, I am relaxed. And I get it. There's times where it's like, okay, it's playful, but sometimes it's not playful. Like, you can tell the difference, what's playful or not. And if we don't have that type of vibration, no, don't try it. I'll just be a bitch, and I'll literally just be like, okay. Why? Because I don't like that you're doing that, and I don't find it funny at all. I don't think it's cute. I don't care if everyone's like, oh my god, take a joke. No. And I can take a joke, but you're just not hilarious, because I love when a bitch wants to be funny, but it becomes to be like being funny, but then just being stupid. Like, don't be stupid with me. Be funny, but don't be fucking stupid with me. Anyways, I ended up going out to eat with the ex. It was kind of okay. It wasn't really any weirdness, but I think it's because I kept to myself a lot, and I just didn't want to act like I was listening to the combo and then, you know, think I'm nosy because they're talking about certain things, and I was just trying to just mind my business. So the topic gets brought up of if I'm Christian or Catholic. Oh, I'm baptized, I'm Catholic. I was baptized Catholic. Like, ay, qué bueno. It bugs me so bad when people who are religious and they want to be like, oh my gosh, good thing. Like, you're a shit person. God don't like ugly. So for you to be like, oh, religion is so important, and all this and that and all this, practice what you preach, bitch. Practice what you tell everybody. Or when you go on Sunday and they think this and they think that. So why does it even matter what I am freaking baptized? You're not gonna treat me any better. You're still a dick. There's a story time that I want to tell you guys, but I can't tell you guys for a while. But if you want me to tell you about how this lady got karma with men, I will definitely tell you, because, ooh, I'm telling you, sometimes it don't sneak up right away. That just creeps up a certain way. And oh, did this bitch get it? Yeah, did she get it? So I'm eating dainty. She wants to comment on it. They're like, how come I'm not eating? He wants to nudge me and be like, babe, you know, you can use your fingers. It's okay. You can get like a little bit dirty. And I'm like, okay. Because we're eating like ribs. We continue to eat. We finish up. He asks me what I'm going to be doing. I tell him that my mom and I are going to be doing something, because I overheard his mom saying that she needed him to go take him to go run some errands, and pretty much saying it loud enough so I could hear, so that we wouldn't plan anything. Pretty much, you know, one of those things where like you want it to be obvious, like, oh, we're gonna do stuff. So he's asking me like, you know, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, oh, my mom wants me to go and help her with this. He's like, oh, okay. I was gonna go hang out with my friends because the aquatic center sometimes closes at 8. So I was like, you know what? I think I still have time. So I hit them up. I'm like, are you guys still there? They're like, hell yeah, you're gonna come through? I'm like, hell yeah. Had a good freaking time. They were asking me like, hey, what was the situation that was going on? I explained it. They're like giving me a lot of crap. Like, girl, just quit. Like, quit. We'll go to the farms and work at the farm. That just to freaking quit. That the whole thing is just toxic, and they're just, anything bad that's going to happen, they're just going to continue to blame me. My friends were like, no, I don't want her to go work at the farm. Like, y'all are tripping. She just has to write it out. Something better's to come. So like, it was just like a 50-50. Some of my friends were babysitters too, and they were going through drama. They're like, it's just because it's babysitting. Like, honestly, the job is so stressful. That's why. Like, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't matter. It doesn't get any better. We pretty much didn't have like similar stories. It was just the drama with either the parent, one of the parents doesn't like how you do things, or the other parent doesn't like how you clean. And it was just drama. We continue to swim. I get super sunburned. I forgot to put on sunscreen, even though that doesn't protect you from, you know, going a shade darker. So I get super tanned, okay? And when I get super tan, I get like morena. The next day, I get ready and I'm going to the Peaches. I have a freaking tan. It's not that serious. I don't know why everyone was making it such a big deal. As soon as I walk in the house and they're like, oh, where did you go yesterday? Because I have a little nice tan going on, you know? And so I'm like, oh, I went swimming with my friends. And they're like, oh, okay, great. You know, you're not really supposed to stay outside, you know, more than 2 hours and because of this. And like, this is, you know, you got to be more careful. Okay, so I go and I start washing the dishes. Voldemort comes down and I guess she didn't recognize me and she wanted to call me a really inappropriate name in Spanish. And as soon as she said it, I looked at her and I'm like, Mr. Peach and Mrs. Peach corrected her real quick on it, like quick on it. And she wanted to make like a little comment like, it's just a joke, it's a joke. But she said in Spanish, it's just a joke, it's a joke. And I tell her like, you're not funny. And then Mr. Peach and Mrs. Peach started laughing and Voldemort felt some way. She was heated that I had them laughing. You know, she was heated that she looked like the clown that she was. So me and Sam are in the same room a couple hours later and she doesn't say anything to me. This girl has attitude like if I did something wrong. She has attitude like if I hurt her feelings. She was doing things purposely for me to like clean up after her, which I was so annoyed with, and I had to like check her and let her know like I'm not the one. Like, don't be acting up, Sam, because I'm not gonna be cleaning up after you. And I'm pretty sure if I go tell your daddy something, he's gonna tell you something because he's tired of your shit too. And she got it together real quick because she even knew like like Alexis tired of it. We don't have to be friends. And I told her we don't have to be friends. We don't have to be anything. But as long as you're here as I'm working, and as long as I'm working here, you're not gonna be acting like that, Sam. Like, we're pretty much the same age. Don't do it because I didn't do anything wrong. And she just looked at me like, okay. It was so hard not just be like, right in your face, because I'm so sick of like those little mucosas that know they can act up because nothing's gonna happen to them because no one checks them. You know, those prissy freaking bitches where like no one ever can put their hands on them because they're like, I'm not a fighter, I'm just a trucker. Literally, that's it. And they want to be like, use your words. Like, I hate those type because they know they'll get their ass beat. They know that they can just run their mouth, but meet the right one and you'll get knocked down a couple steps. But anyways, you guys, that is my story time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to give me a big thumbs up. It helps me out a lot, you guys. And subscribe if you guys would like to see more. Let me know down below if you guys have been in similar situations like me. I would love to read them. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. Te quiero mucho, you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next story time. Bye.